to local musical artists, the more I like them. We have so many untapped, unknown to the rest of the nation. But great stuff by Travis. That was Circus. I thought I had started. My technological struggles continue. As I thought I had started one of his songs, went to go do my hair, came back, and come to find out I was not live yet. But it looks like we are live now. On today's show, none other than Mr. Doug Dorman, economics and social studies teacher here at Fort Kent Community High School. Also, the ringmaster for Winter Carnival. So we're going to get his insight on everything that's going on here in this crazy world we're living in now. But really, that Travis Sear, I just subscribed Travis Sear's Quarantunes. So hopefully he's okay with that. Would love to get him on the show. So I'm looking for contact info, but just great stuff, I must say. And just trying to get my iPad going here, see if we can get some comments, some concerns. Looks like we're up and running. Let's check the weather as we do here every morning. Much better than yesterday's snow. There is still some of that sticking out there, but I don't forecast it being there too long. But once again, disclaimer, I am no meteorologist. Currently looks like, let's refresh. No, let's not mess around. Currently 27 degrees. For you, Mr. Dorman, out there in Edmonston, that's 3 degrees, -3 Celsius. Another shout out to the Willette family and David for my great gift. Okay, hopefully you guys can figure that out. Awesome stuff. Got some great chocolates too. Jeez Louise, had some of those last night. As did my daughters. I gotta hide those in here. But look at this. Look at this, folks. Today, 46. Look at tomorrow. We're going to approach 60 tomorrow and Friday. Yesterday, Friday looked a lot worse. Now we're just 30%. But we've got 59 degrees. Saturday should be beautiful. So there you go. Just a little scare yesterday of some snow. But now we are good to go. And why will that not load? We might just have too much going on here on the line. I like to go down here on the National Weather Service. You'll see up top. I like to go down and click on this graph here in the corner. Boom. I use this a lot for athletics because this kind of gives us a hour by hour graph. Up top, you'll see the red is the temp. The blue is the wind chill. The wind is really what's got me going lately here in a bad direction. See, we are going to be dealing with some winds here in the, early teens. You can take these out, by the way. So this is your lesson today. Focus, people. If you don't really care about relative humidity or, dew point, take that out, submit, and it reloads, and now we see the wind. Okay, but down here is, look at this, snow, rain, nothing there. So that is awesome. That's your weather brought to you by me, and also the National Weather Service. Once again, Doug Dorman coming up. Fort Kent Community High School remote teacher, as well as Winter Carnival guru. As I went through this morning the Bangor Daily News, a couple things caught my eye. Remember, as we talked about yesterday, here in the Valley, June 5 now is the last student day at all Valley Unified Schools. And graduation is set here at Fort Kent Community High School for June 12th on the soccer field. We're trying to wrap our heads around how that's going to look. You know, I talked to one of our seniors last night. We're picking up some groceries with my mask. Sam Roy. I said, Sam, you know, you're going to wear your soccer uniform for graduation. You're going to be on the field. So we just don't know how that's going to look. But I tell you one thing, this senior class certainly will have a memorable end of the year, to say the least. Spring sports are a no-go as far as MPA. We are looking for some clearance, but probably not. And in fact, not until after July 4th will we be even entertaining any type of contact sport type thing, team sport. So around July 6th, maybe, we'll have a better idea. So stay tuned. I'll roll some stuff out when I get some more guidance from the Maine Principals Association, the Maine CDC. I mean, I sound like an expert. I'm really not, but that's what I've been told. So I got to listen to those people. And then the Deuce, who is my boss, the Dean of Students, Mr. Steve Doucette. By the way, he's coming up Friday. I don't know if he's been practicing, but a lot of fans have been asking for some sort of live performance from him. He's got a music room. He's got 27 guitars. We ought to be able to hear something, Deuce. But anyway, we will talk to him on Friday. On tomorrow's show, Mr. Robbie Netto, who is the principal over there at Fort Kent Elementary School. So a couple administrators. We don't want any ties, guys. Okay, wear shirts like this. I know Mr. Netto's got some stuff in his arsenal. But anyway, so that's what we dealt with locally. And there is an integration plan to everybody to try to get back into the schools. But Bangor Daily, here's what caught my eye. There's a headline. I only browsed the story, but there's a headline that says restaurants reopening using thermal cameras and plexiglass bar shields. It kind of sounds like that movie Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall. I don't know if you remember that. It was a sci-fi movie set in the future. It was crazy. Thermal cameras and plexiglass bar shields. Okay. But another thing here, and I have this story, I believe, up here. Let me just check here before I screen share. Yeah, right here. And this is brought to you by Bangor Daily News. I had a great conversation yesterday, by the way, with sports reporter Larry Mahoney of the Bangor Daily. He's trying to work on a story about sports reopening. And once again, I said, Larry, we have no idea, as do you, what the heck we're going to do with that. But here we go. So this caught my eye. The headline here, as we scroll back up and go by a few dresses, a lot of dresses. And we could ask Mr. Dorman about this stuff, as this is his job there, Mr. Social Studies. Wow. The answers to your questions on Maine's tourism restrictions in summer phase-in. So, there's some categories here, blah, 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 and we go down, but what caught my eye is the last little question. Becomes a big one for us here, being a border community. Do you know how long Canadian border restrictions will be continuing, and what the current impact has been on tourism here? So, yeah, that's huge. I believe the story. And why will this just not load on the iPad? I don't get it. I need help. I need to upgrade my internet spectrum. Maybe since I'm doing this show for free, can you upgrade my speed? Give me that Roadrunner gracious, just work. I can't run one device. Now I'm trying to run two. Anyway, I just want to see the live feed here so I can throw my iPad out the window. Anyway, yeah, so look at this. Canadians accounted for 14% of tourism arrivals in Maine in 2018. Now, I know here, for example, I mean, we're going back and forth. You know, I know the Canadians, and once again, we can check with Mr. Dorman on this, but I know they like to take advantage of the gas prices over here. We like to go over there for their potato chips. No, there's so much more, but in all seriousness, I love their potato. Why are Canadian potato chips so much better? I just don't know. Like, get a bag of all dressed Lay's here in the States, get a bag in Canada, and compare them. Anyway, so that's something that we will need to consider. When will we open the borders? I think, what was the date here on May 20? So that was supposed to expire on May 20, the closure with the U.S.-Canadian border. Will that extend? I mean, I got a feeling both countries are gonna keep that closure intact. We just don't know, but we need to get some intel on that. So I'm sure we will hear as that goes on. Okay, I'm blabbering. Let's go back here. So that's one story that came out of the Bangor Daily News as like I said, perused it. Let me close that. But this is great. Let's finish with this. We're about now, Mr. Dorman. I did email him, but we will await his arrival. It's either 7:20 or 7:30. I apologize. I try to line up these guests. You know, usually I did it this week on Sunday. And even Mr. Dorman, we had talked last week, and I just don't remember. And the time is different over there in Edmundston. He actually loses an hour. So when he leaves school, let's say he left school after a meeting at 4:30, drove back home, which is roughly an hour. So he's pulling in at 5:30 our time, which is actually 6:30 his time. So he loses an hour in the evening. But anyway, hey, you live in a great place, Mr. Dorman, and we'll talk about that. But this is great. Okay, now what happened is, as we said, you know, there's a threat of no prom. There's a threat of, you know, we already lost our spring sports season. There's trips, you know, NHS conventions, intramural volleyball tournaments, and we could just go on and on about all the things that are being missed. But this was great. Okay, what happened? I believe this is in Caribou. But what happened was, as my daughter missed out on her recital, and we had Barry Willett on this week. What the heck day is it? Wednesday? On Monday. And we were talking about his daughter, a senior, Emily, who's missing out on her show. But check this out. What happened over there in I think this is Caribou. Was they gave a surprise here to their teacher, and it's 4 minutes long. We probably won't watch all of it, but it seems like a great thing. So they put on a production for her. There's Neuro Shaw. It's amazing how all these people become famous during these pandemics. Okay, I want to play this. Are you ready, folks? Let's check it out.
And I had a vision of them dancing in front of your house, so we pulled it together and made it happen. So, you ready, guys? Here, wait, let me start it over.
Lang wayaw. May lava ke manino.
Wow, that was awesome. So you see the reaction there. There's Travis again. The reaction of the teacher, just awesome. It gives me the chills a little bit, but great stories nationwide. And there's one out of Caribou on something you can do here to just keep us rolling. Those kids are incredible that they were able to do that. Very, very impressive. So kudos to them. And let's take a look as we transition a little bit here. Want to remind folks that thanks to the town here in Fort Kent, Susie Parody, our town manager, and Boulier, our rec director, tennis nets are up. So the courts are clear, the sun is shining. Tennis is an option here. A special thank you to Jason Netto, his son Caden, as well as the crew that behind the lumba of Jay Rushlow down there with Cedarville Lumber down there in Eagle Lake. But anyway, the batting cage, outdoor batting cage is just about ready to roll. I got to slap some rules and regulations on it today. Do a little lamination, Sylvia Dow Harvey lamination. And, but the net is over it. Jason headed a group that did some fundraising for a net. We got that put up yesterday in a snowstorm, but the net is good to go. So bottom line is, if you've got a helmet, a bat, and a teammate, get in there and do some hitting. A good way to try to stay on top of your game. Get some swings in. I know I'm going to hop in there. I can't hit anything over probably 40 miles an hour, and it's got to be straight down the middle. But that is going to be set up, so that's pretty cool. In walking my dog, I noticed there is, behind the pool, there's a nice little patch of land there where my goal is to put up a volleyball net so we can have a little outdoor volleyball and rip up the ground there a little bit and throw some sand down. That's going to be awesome. So behind the pool, we're going to work on some socially distanced beach volleyball. You still can walk, hike, bike, I mean, seriously, living here in the St. John Valley, there is no excuse not to get outside and get out and about. There are some great things to do. The Heritage Trail here hooks up to so many great options. We've had Carl Terrio on, and but get up there. Outdoor Center, Violet Settlement Trails. If you're like me, I live here on Market Street, so I can just pop out onto the Heritage Trail and whether I'm walking, biking, or doing any of that, I got some great options. The Fort Kent Community High School / Valley Rivers Middle School basketball court has an upgrade. So chain nets are now secured, and we have yellow lines down, free throw, 3-point, and half court. The court is pretty narrow, so it would be great though for a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-4 full court game if it's legal. But just do it safe. You know, for example, if I score on you, don't spit in my face. I mean, that's, you know, maybe we can wear masks while playing. I don't know. Give us some direction, folks. So we got all that geared up. Major League Baseball here on the national level looks like they're going to try to open around July 4th. The NBA is picking up some steam on what they're doing. The NFL has already released their schedules. I would like to know what's going on with any type of pro soccer, because once we can hear about what they're doing, that can kind of trickle down to us, and we can figure out how are we going to start soccer. Can we do that? We just don't know, but that would be fabulous to get an idea on in some direction, because we know how big soccer is here in the Valley. We also will have golf, cross country running. We need to get some direction here, as our kids, our youth are itching. I know I am, to get something active. While we wait here on Mr. Doug Dorman, I want to play some more Travis Sear. Hopefully Travis is good with that. Travis, if you're out there or listening to this recorded, please reach out to us here at Wake Up SJV, as we'd love to have you on the show. We heard a little bit of Circus. We want to see what's next. Looks like Soft Silver Sun. So let's take a listen.
Wake in the morning, everything's real. Walk through the garden, down to the field. I come to the water, I lay on the edge, and I dream of a sunset in that place where you live. And I think of the silence, I hear the song, I remember the moment when time lingered on. I remember the birds high in the trees, the changing color of the falling leaves. I want for you, baby, to laugh like a child, to be stronger than diamonds, to feel loved and be proud. Like the dimming of day, the waves and the ice, the soft silver sun, the warm guiding light.
Wow, incredible. I tell you what, just some great, great music by Travis Sear, today's featured local artist. On Monday, we had Empty Head, led by Mr. Doug Clapp, looking to get him on air here as we roll out with Wake Up SJV through the summer. Tuesday was French Toast. And today, thank you to yesterday's guest, Nicole Jondro from No Nonsense here on the St. John Valley Live platform for recommending Travis Sear, who, wow, I will continue to listen to him. Just great stuff. There's something for me about an acoustic guitar that just sounds great. I mean, I'm really going to try to push the Deuce, Mr. Steve Doucette, who's a big Metallica fan, as am I, for him to maybe crank out some acoustic Metallica. Wouldn't that be cool? Enter Sandman acoustic. 7:33 here is the time. We are awaiting Mr. Doug Dorman. Then we're going to check in on my email and see if we got some sort of a reply from him, if he's out there, what's going on. Is he stuck at the border? We just don't know. At this point, we're trying to kill time, Mr. Dorman, to get you in. We talked about the restaurant scene here, what's going on there. I highly, highly recommend the sushi bowls at Crossings are awesome. Obviously, the 4-packs over here on Market Street at First Mile. Walkers, I got the Angry Mussels a couple of weeks ago, takeout, exceptional. Yesterday, as we completed the batting cage project, we got a couple of chicken clubs with curly fries over at Al's. Al is just amazing. They're going strong over there. I walked in to pick up my takeout and everybody's in face masks. The kitchen is cranking. But still, the uncertainty of how restaurants will reopen remains here. I've not heard much. I did hear a rumor yesterday that Swamp Buck will reopen Monday. I don't know if that is the case or not, but it looks like they will, according to that rumor, and we got to be careful with rumors, reopen on Monday. We're going to give Doug a quick call here. I mean, come on, people. We got to see where he's at here. 7:34 our time. Bear with me. As we see, maybe he's on Canadian time. So we're going to give him a call here on air. We may go to voicemail. We can keep going here with Travis Sear and kill the time otherwise. Getting no answer. We hope he's okay. We just don't know. Here on Friday evening, it's going to be action-packed again. Of course, Friday night Warrior Lights will continue. What we do there is we turn on the soccer lights and we play some music for exactly 20 minutes, 20 seconds. That is military time, 8:20, the class of 2020. So last Friday, well, the first Friday was a torrential rainstorm. So it was me, myself, and I. A couple vehicles went through. Last Friday was a pretty nice evening. It was a little chilly, but so we had some seniors show up. I will say, stay off the grass, especially Zach Chassis. I think he tried to pull a couple donuts in the goal area. It's not a good idea unless you want to get thrown in jail. But anyway, we had some seniors show up. They clicked a photo in front of the scoreboard there, trying to get me in trouble. But socially distanced, they checked their temperatures. They were good to go. They just want to be together. But anyway, we did that. And we'll do that again this Friday night. Also going on here on St. John Valley Live will be, excuse me, will be a trivia challenge. That will be run by UMFK, a contingent there. And if you give me a second here, I can give you a little overview. For some reason, they did invite me onto this challenge. It looks like, as I pop into my email, that Mr. Dorman may be ready, but I don't see it, Doug, on my invite list here. So you got to go ahead and join us whenever you'd like, my friend. He's trying to push it. Let's see if we can get him on. Hi, Doug. No. Come on when possible. Send. Yeah, let me see if I can give you folks. Oh, I'm bouncing around here. Bouncing around. Chaz Pelletier just does so much, man. He sent this email out last night at looks like 10:18. Does the guy ever sleep? Let me give you a quick synopsis here. So the UMFK Cares Fund provides assistance to students at the University of Maine at Fort Kent for housing, food, heating, travel, clothing, medical, dental, and mental health or support during other emergency situations for basic needs for which the student has no other source of funds. So what a great idea. What a great cause. It looks like it's a Zoom meeting and we're going to have a trivia game portal. This is going to be fun. And once again, I don't know how I got roped into this, but it's an invite only, looks like. Trivia questions. We have 25 questions that are going to be thrown at us. Topics from music, movies, history, business, etc. Yeah, I got some sponsors. It looks like it's going to be a good time. So I'm going to try to juggle, if you will, both Friday Night Lights for 20 minutes, 20 seconds and trivia. And I'm going to be looking for some sort of takeout. I mean, where am I going to go Friday night? There's just so many good options. Doug, Mr. Dorman does have an 8 o'clock. So this is false advertising, my friend. At this point, we're just looking to get him for 10 to 20 minutes. It's like it's like a date and oh, there he is. Let's bring him in. I was about to say I was getting stood up. Here he comes. Hey, there he is. How you doing, Mr. Dorman?
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
You're live on Wake Up SJV. Thanks for coming on board. I was just telling the people here on the show, whoever's watching, that I felt like I was going to get stood up, Doug, like a bad day.
Yeah, I know. It almost happened. Sometimes I have problems connecting with Zoom, even when I set up my regular classes, and I'm not sure why that's happening. But today it just said to me basically that you have a meeting in session, and it was kind of like waiting. So I figured I was all set, but I guess I wasn't. So, and
I think that's because you're Canadian.
you're
You're a
Canadian,
little-
right? Hey, you don't know how many times I've had trouble scheduling meetings and so forth with that time difference, okay? Because when you schedule your Google Meet or your Zoom meeting, you got to put in the time. And if you don't put in the time zone for me, it really messes things up. And then I got to go back and send out an invite to get everyone in the right class. It's been a mess with the time zone. I never thought it would be, but it's something.
I would agree. I've struggled here just getting this show started on time, and then I'm bouncing around. I got an iPad here. I'm trying to take questions, but those are the struggles we're dealing with. Mr. Dorman, looks like you're frozen. Are you still with us? Okay, my friend. Let's get into a couple things here, if you don't mind. I know you got I think you got an 8 a.m. So
yeah, I got one coming up. So
okay, great. Listen. What subjects are you currently teaching, and how are the seniors doing, Mr. Dorman?
Yeah, well, I'm currently teaching all juniors right now in economics, okay? And I have very few seniors for the second semester. I have one group of seniors in a Supreme Court class, and I had all the other seniors in the first semester. But talking with students and student council right now, I think the issue is that, especially for the seniors, they feel like they've given up quite a bit with this, graduation, what's going to happen with that, prom, their senior week, senior year, it's quite a bit for them. And one thing that I know as being the student council advisor for about 23 years now, I think I'm the longest running student council advisor in the state, or at least one of the top 10. But I think I'm in the top 5 or number 1, but nobody really keeps track of this. Yeah. So one of the things I notice is that we talk about students as being very willing to change and go along with the flow and stuff, but really they're not. They really get fixed into a routine, and I think that's one of the problems we see with online learning is that without our guidance or us being there, they kind of get lost. And I think that's the same thing that's happening for their senior year, is that they feel lost. They feel like they don't have a lot of stability right now, and that really makes them uneasy.
Yeah, same here. I agree. Our principal, John Coletta, who's been a guest here last week, has done an awesome job putting out, I think you may have seen him, the profiles on each and every senior, which are showcased on our website, Community High School. But Mr. Dorman, I think a tribute to you, one of the questions is, what's your best memory? And I'd say the ones I've read, probably 75 to 95% of them list Winter Carnival as their best memory. And I got to tell you, my first year working, whatever it was, 5 years ago, when I witnessed Winter Carnival, when I lived it, amazing. So can you tell us, give us a little history on both Winter Carnival and even Spirit Week? I think have been awesome. I really enjoy that. And that's one thing. I mean, we do a great job for our students, I think. And to have that taken from them and to do all this, crud through Zoom and whatever is tough. But tell us the history of Spirit Week and Winter Carnival.
Well, Winter Carnival in our it's at CHS has been there for a long, long time. I mean, I've been there 23 years. I took over from Scott Sivany, actually. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. He was a student council advisor, and he had a really great house already built for Winter Carnival. I mean, the foundation was there, the framework was there. He had everything set up, okay? and he took that over from, I'm not sure who he took that over from, but we've always had a really strong student council. We've had a, strong winter carnival. So when I took over, I just kind of tweak it based on what the students want. And over the years, that's what we kept doing, is just finding different things that the students like and what they don't want. And really, I'm very happy to say that our student council is pretty much ran by, it's run by the students. They decide what they want to put in there for activities. They decide, what the theme is going to be. Most schools have gone away from that. I think one of the reasons why most schools don't have a strong winter carnival, if they don't have a winter carnival, is that they have a hard time finding people who wants to run it. Maybe as advisor or just as a support staff. I'm lucky to have a lot of individuals in the building like yourself and other individuals that will definitely help me out with winter carnival. I can't say that we have that in all schools. I mean, just take a look at all of our bands. I mean, how many schools have a teacher's team or have the principal and vice principal, playing music? Okay.
Incredible.
We have very unique community spirit in Fort Kent, and we have a very unique student body that is very engaged. We don't have that throughout the state of Maine in a lot of schools. So that's a culture that has been created, which is really, really positive for us. One of the things that I kind of go back and forth on, Eric, is the, sometimes like, do we give the students a little bit too much control? Because, like over the years, we've lost a lot of our winter activities outside, like in the old days, going way, way back about 25 years ago or 30 years ago, we used to have, snow sculptures. Okay. And that was really popular with the students in the community. But over the years, because the classes are getting smaller, we don't have as many individuals to do all the things that we have in winter carnival. And as a result of that, the students overall, even in their personal lives, they don't go outside as much as they used to. And the winter carnival activities have kind of simply died out. And I don't know if that's because I don't push it enough but really, I think I do. And I just don't feel like I get a lot of interest from the student body. So it is their winter carnival. They vote on what they want to put in there. So it's kind of taken on a different life over the years. And I guess that's like anything else.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that recently, Mr. Dorman, but I really think it boils down to it's too cold during the actual winter carnival date. So I got something for you.
Yeah.
I think we should do some sort of sculptures around Winter Wellness Day. You know how we have our Winter Wellness Day?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe have the students come in, the evening before, or maybe they could work on it that week after school. And I know the people up at Lonesome Pine Trails, led by Mike Vazin, I've seen them literally dump piles of snow, right in front of the lodge, and then kids come in and so maybe we could do that with our students, and that would but I just think it's too cold. My understanding is back in the day, winter carnival was later.
Yeah, it was later, more into March. Okay. And I think you're right. That's a good real idea. And I think if we did it, to have it right now, like with winter carnival, is tough because of all the other activities. And that's what I was getting at about like change. Students don't want to give up anything. Okay. And they're really happy with what they have right now. But I think they would really like the sculptures. It just might be too much during that week. But if we do that offset with a different week, that would definitely be something I think they would be into. Especially if we have a little competition among the classes, maybe give out a few prizes and stuff like that. They like that.
Yeah, no, I love the setup now. I wouldn't change much, but I love, the fact that you just ask your students, ask your senior class, what are your themes? What are your events? I mean, that's awesome that you as their advisor truly let them pick it. And then they kind of tweak it every year, but you still see the common stuff. There's a group dance. There's always that ending part I love where they throw all the stuff on the ground and they're running back and forth. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, we call that novelty events. Okay.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was started way before me. So that's probably, that's over 30 some years, maybe 40 some years that we've been doing that at least. At CHS. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Now, another huge thing that you do, I mean, you do so much for the school, but you always have these great trips that you plan. I assume that stuff's on hold, but what was the next big trip that we had coming up?
Yeah, well, actually, Eric, that's a good question. We were going to go to Washington, D.C. next month in June. At the end of June, we were heading out, and it was going to be the longest trip that I have ever done with students. We were going to go for 7 days. So we were going to do Washington, D.C. For about 5 days, and then we were going to head up into Pennsylvania, go to Gettysburg for a day, and then head over to Hershey Park and spend a day there at the Hershey factory and the amusement park. But all that has, of course, been put on hold. I'm definitely planning that as my next trip. I just don't know when. So I just, like everyone else, we don't have any questions on anything. But I'm happy to say that none of the students lost any money on this. And the reason why is I don't go through any tour company. I do everything myself. So there is no, I know all the contacts, and, we were all, we're all set on that. So that's good. The only thing I'm disappointed by is that I have gone to DC with students at least 5 times, and I have never been able to get in the White House, okay, with students. This time, I think it would have happened. I was so close. The last time I went, I had a reservation to get in the White House. 2 weeks before I was going for my date, they sent me an email that they had to cancel because there was a special event on the day of our tour. So it's kind of like on my bucket list. But I don't know when that's going to happen. But, I was about ready to make the announcement that we were going to get into the White House. So it's too bad.
Yeah, I've been telling you and other
Yeah, you
folks.
gotta go.
Yeah, I need to get on one of your trips. I have been to DC with some of my UMFK basketball teams, but only, going through town, and we'd stop for a day. But I mean, there is so much to do there. Outside of the White House, there's museums. It's incredible. So yeah, keep me in mind when that trip does come up. Whenever we, hopefully get some clearance. What are you hearing about the U.S.-Canada border? We talked about earlier on the show, Bangor Daily headline had it reopening potentially May 20th, but do you think that, my guess is that'll get pushed. What are you
I
hearing?
think it's going to get pushed too. You're right about the deadline. It is May 20th. The people since I'm a government teacher, I listen to this stuff all the time. So in my opinion, it's definitely going to get pushed. They'll push it back about another 30 days, I think. I could be wrong on this. However, the United States seems like they're more willing to open up that border for a little bit more traffic, okay? Especially like for families in the St. John Valley. Some members haven't seen each other in quite a long time. And I know that's more of a push, but I haven't heard anything on the Canadian side. The Canadian side seems like they're going to be quite a bit longer in terms they want to open up the border. So you could see the Americans opening up their border before the Canadian side does, which was going to put Canadians in a situation, because if you're not essential, well, even if you're an essential worker, you still have to be quarantined when you come back. So if I go to Fort Kent right now, which I haven't gone since this all happened, I need to be quarantined in my house for 14 days unless I go back to work. So if I go to work every day in Fort Kent, I just go from my house to work and then back. And then as soon as I'm done my last day of work, I would have to be quarantined for 14 days under the current policy.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
Canadians are pretty heavy on that. Canadians a lot. I don't know, from what I've been reading, especially here in New Brunswick, is that they're pretty severe on that. In terms of making sure that people are quarantined when they travel, into the United States.
So, Mr. Dorman, roughly 20,000 people in Edmundston.
Yeah.
How did COVID-19, or how has it affected that city? Where are you guys at? Is it
Well,
give us a snapshot of what's going on in Edmundston.
yeah, I think one of the things that happened, very quick in New Brunswick is that we really went into a quarantine mode quicker than other provinces in Canada. Okay, not sure why that is. So, we closed our borders between Quebec and Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia pretty soon. And either way, as a result or not as a direct result, we had very few cases in New Brunswick. Okay. So we also, I think the population of New Brunswick at the beginning of this did a really solid job of doing a quarantine, like really taking it serious. But as you know, we had less and less cases, things definitely opened up. So right now the flow of traffic in Edmonton is pretty solid. Most of the businesses are back open with modifications. So life has pretty much returned to kind of normal here in Edmonton, except for like your restaurants and so forth. But besides that, everything's pretty good. I have to say one more thing, Eric. You take New Brunswick and you take what we in our school district, okay? Because New Brunswick's all the same for education. Maine is not the same policies. It's really remarkable, and I'm bragging here, what we did in our school district. New Brunswick had nothing like that. I mean, the kids today in New Brunswick, they're still not attending any type of Zoom meetings, okay? If they do, it's kind of more like, how's it going? How are you feeling? And that's only started in the last week or 2 weeks. In terms of, curriculum or instruction or teaching, not even close. Not even close. My friends in Edmonton who are teachers, they're amazed by what we are doing. And I'm not saying we're doing the best job, but to throw this together at the last minute with teachers and then have students, learn from home and everything else, it's really remarkable what we're doing. Of course, we have a lot of negative things that we, it's gonna, if we have to do this again, I know we're going to improve on. But just in New Brunswick, very little compared to what we're doing, which I think is a really, our hats off to us as a department and a school.
Yeah, I would agree. Starting with our superintendent and going right down the line with our great administrators, and then obviously you, the teachers. What we've been able to put together. What I heard was, and I'll let you go here. I know you got a class meeting, but what I heard was that New Brunswick initially just gave the kids 2 weeks off, and they said, "Hey, we got to try to figure this out, right?" And then they came back.
I would say they gave them like a month off, and I'm not criticizing the system, but they gave them about a month where nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's not going away. Let's be honest. We're going to have some variation of remote learning in place here for the long term. But it's great to hear that you guys are doing well over there in Edmonton. I love that city. I'm hoping I can get back over there. You've shown me a lot of great places over there. And
a few more hockey games would be nice. So
it would be. It would be. They're not playing, I assume. Have you
they're
heard?
not playing. No. But that'd be the first thing that probably will come back. They'll try to figure out some policy to set up in the arena so they can get those games back up and going. So.
What about soccer? You know how big soccer is here. Yeah. Is there any type of talk about soccer coming back over there? Because I'm curious what they're going to do with contact type sports.
No, I don't know how they're going to handle that. I know that, I'm not directly involved in soccer anymore right now, but I've noticed online, I still got a few groups on Facebook, and some of the coaches are doing stuff like Zoom soccer practices.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious when we can play again.
I don't know. There's no talk right now. And I think, to be honest with you, that if for that type of stuff, the Canadians are really not progressing too quick on that. I mean, like any of the social aspect stuff, like the sports and
yeah, same here.
No talk.
All right, folks, that is the ringmaster, Doug Dorman. Great to see you, my friend. And great to hear some awesome stories on everything you're doing for us. We wish you the best, and can't wait to meet up again, my friend.
And
stay safe.
Invite me back sometime if you got room.
Anytime. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Okay, that was Mr. Doug Dorman. We are approaching the 8 a.m. hour, and we're going to get cut off here. So we're going to wrap up the show. Tomorrow here on Wake Up SJV, Fort Kent Elementary School principal, Mr. Robbie Netto will join us. Music tomorrow will be, today was Travis Sear. Tomorrow we're going to take a listen to Adam Netto. So Adam Netto tomorrow will be our featured musician. And Friday will be the Deuce, Mr. Steve Doucette. Take care. Stay safe, everybody.